It's 8 p.m. and here are our top stories. A home explosion rocks Westminster. Investigators now searching through what's left, trying to find the cause.
My son heard the bomb, like a bomb.
Rocked the whole house, shook everything.
Busted gates, break-ins, and nowhere left to turn. Contact Denver 7 investigates complaints about one Denver apartment letting maintenance fall behind.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right?
President Biden calling Putin's latest play the beginning of a Russian invasion.
This is a flagrant violation of international law.
The U.S. now taking action against Russia as diplomatic efforts begin to fall apart.
We'll continue to escalate our sanctions if Russia escalates its aggression toward Ukraine.
I think if the wind picked up, it'd be, a face would hurt.
Plus, record-breaking cold across Colorado, but it's just another day for some.
It's pretty cold, but it's Denver.
We are just below 8 degrees at 8 tonight, so it's time to bundle up in Colorado for another evening of single-digit temperatures across the metro.
The mountains could see another foot of snow and more flurries on the way for the Front Range. Good evening, and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter.
I'm Danny New. We're kicking things off with these freezing temperatures that actually hit a record today. It's kind of confusing. I'm going to try to explain it. So the high in Denver was 8 degrees, and that is the lowest high temperature on this day in our recorded history. So the previous record high was 15 degrees back in 1913. So the highest today was 8, which is the lowest the high has ever been on this day.
All you need to know is really cold.
Yeah,
and
it's really
along
cold.
with this freeze, we still have off and on snow in the metro. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson joining us now with the latest. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening. Yeah, when you call it a record low high, it sounds like we're talking about a neighborhood in Denver. So one of those things you got to be
I tried
careful
my best to be you. I'm sorry.
All right. So let's show you what had happened this morning. We dropped well below zero on the Northeast Plains. Didn't get much above zero on the Northeast Plains this afternoon, all single digits today. But off to the west, it's not as cold. I'll explain that in just a moment. The wind chills, though, right now make it feel like 11 below zero in Denver on exposed skin, 20 below up at Sterling. So obviously we have a wind chill advisory on the eastern plains. Western side of the state, they're under more of an influence of Pacific moisture, so it's milder air coming in, but laden with a lot of snow. That's why they still have winter storm warnings, avalanche watch, and winter weather advisories in effect there. We're not completely out of the snow picture here. There have been some bands of snow moving northward into the Denver area, and they'll do so throughout the night tonight. It's not going to be a lot, but maybe as much as an inch, and with temperatures dropping down around the zero mark, if not a few degrees colder than that, roads will be slick early tomorrow morning. Coming up, how much more snow to expect and when those temperatures finally struggle back above freezing.
We'll check back in. Thank you, Mike. Heartbreaking news coming out of Westminster this evening. Investigators say possible human remains have been found in the debris of a home that exploded this morning.
Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez spoke to neighbors who say the blast sounded like a bomb went off, while investigators are still working to find out what caused it.
Around 2:30 Tuesday morning, while most neighbors were sleeping, what sounded like a bomb shook this Westminster neighborhood.
It's a lot of smoke in the house, just shaking. Then I said, oh my God, what's going on?
Knocked plants over, knocked pictures off the wall. And I had originally thought a car hit my house because I'm right here at the intersection.
But as neighbors went outside, they saw one of the houses on the street was no longer there.
I could see that the house was gone and there was smoke and debris rolling out.
I mean, it's really sad to see, but I mean, it was kind of dangerous, clearly, with something like this to happen,
Neighbors in the area tell Denver 7 the home caught fire in April of last year and was condemned shortly after. Since then, they say the property owner and a family member would return to the home occasionally.
It's been burned out, boarded up, and it's had a inhospitable sign on the door, but the previous tenants were still, going in and out and living in there.
He's been living it ever since, and trying to stay warm and starting little bonfires and stuff on the inside.
Some neighbors say they voiced their safety concerns to the city, but nothing was ever done. Denver 7 reached out to the city of Westminster for clarification, but did not hear back.
I know it's been kind of like a crazy circumstance going on over there, and I think the city's kind of failed a little bit of a part of it. I feel like they have kind of let us down.
2 nearby homes and several cars were damaged, but no other injuries were reported. Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Ivan. Investigators say they're continuing to work to determine the cause of the explosion, which could likely take several weeks. And as always, the Adams County coroner will release the name of the person only once family has been notified.
Today, investigators released the identities of 5 people who died after being poisoned by fentanyl in Commerce City. 3 of the victims were family members along with 2 of their friends. 1 adult survived and a child was found in the apartment. While loved ones grieve, investigators continue their work to try and find out who supplied those lethal drugs. Now, this tragedy is far from the only one that's happened in our state. We've done extensive reporting on the dangers of laced drugs, and tonight a deputy is sharing his experience of using Narcan in these situations. Deputy Calderon of the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office tells Denver 7 that in the past year he's responded to about 8 overdose calls, 6 of which he administered Narcan, saving lives. Now he tries to carry 3 doses of the life-saving medicine.
I'm happy to know that maybe some of the people that I helped with Narcan are still with us and they still have a chance of spending more time with their families.
And coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, we'll share exclusive body camera footage of a life-saving response that Calderon did in December when a woman took a blue pill that was laced with fentanyl.
Supply chain issues have set many industries back, and for one Rhino apartment complex, the tenants are paying the price. So they reached out to contact Denver 7, and our Bayan Wang went to see for himself.
Hey, good evening. We're over here at the Citygate Apartments off of Brighton Boulevard, and as you can see behind me, the exit gate for the parking structure here is wide open, and residents tell us it's been this way for quite a few months. Now, during this time period, multiple residents say they have noticed people who do not belong there walking in through the open gate and going from car to car checking to see if the doors are open. Many residents say their cars have been broken into, and some even had their vehicles stolen.
It's been happening so frequently in this garage. Cars have been getting stolen. My roommate's motorcycle was stolen. My roommate's car was broken into and vandalized. My friends that live on the first floor have had their windows busted open. I've heard of people's tires getting slashed, entire cars being removed.
And it's incidents like these that prompted Alex Nader, a tenant here, to start a petition on change.org demanding the apartment complex find an alternative way to fix the exit gate. According to an email from the apartment to a resident, supply chain issues have caused delays in receiving the parts to fix the gate. Now, we reached out to the apartment complex and their management group, but they did not respond. However, in that email, the apartment complex said that they have upped security, but residents here say they haven't noticed that. Back to you.
Thank you, Bayan. And the U.S. says the Russian invasion of Ukraine has begun, and now President Biden is issuing new sanctions targeting Russian banks and oligarchs. Russian President Vladimir Putin says his goal was to, quote, maintain peace by ordering troops to eastern Ukraine after recognizing the independence of 2 separatist areas. President Biden says Russia is poised to move deeper into Ukraine.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law and demands a firm response from the international community.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he will not meet with Russia's foreign minister this week, which effectively pushes back a possible summit between Putin and Biden. Today, President Biden also announced that he was repositioning troops and equipment to, quote, strengthen U.S. allies in Europe. And the president made it clear that they would not be there to, quote, fight Russia.
Christoph Stiefus, who teaches Russian politics at CU Denver, believes President Biden's sanctions are a good first step. He also doesn't believe there's much more that we can do to prevent Vladimir Putin from launching a full-scale invasion.
I think the next 72 hours or so will be decisive. We will see if Russia, invades the entire Ukraine, or if it's just, taking bits and pieces from Ukraine, which he already has in 2014 with Crimea. I don't think that we can do much at this point. We probably have to sit and wait and see, because these sanctions will certainly hit him, but they will hit in the long run, not in the short term.
Additional sanctions would likely be aimed at Russia's energy sector, which would almost certainly have an impact on our gasoline prices. Well, still ahead at 8. Finding ancestral connections. One group in Denver helping Black people rediscover their history.
It just hasn't been documented until now.
How they're helping bridge branches for family trees and filling the gaps.
I think it's important for self-identity to know exactly where and what your roots are.
And taking another live look over Denver right now. It's still really cold out there. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson lets us know when the next warm-up could be, something steamy like 38 degrees. Stay with us.